As 2022 unfurled, I found myself thrown into the tide of a new phase, both professionally and personally. Life, as it always does, wasted no time in launching the next volley of challenges, and challenges I had aplenty. Having just stepped off the emotional roller coaster of a breakup with Daniel, it felt like life had another transformation in store. Snap! The Daniel chapter closed, and voila, the doors of leadership at Click AI swung open. Little did I know that as I slipped into the shoes of a mentor for our junior employees, the very act of guiding and inspiring others would become a form of therapy for me. Aided by the ebbs and flows of my career, this unexpected role of guiding the young enthusiastic minds at work sealed the void left behind by Daniel's absence with a newfound purpose. These young minds looked up to me for guidance. Every interaction with them was like a mirror reflecting my own journey and the lessons I had learned over the years. Each question they had, every doubt they sought to clear, became a thread connecting my past experiences to their present, weaving a fabric of shared wisdom. Some days it'd be lessons from my first photography contest at age 12. Others it'd be the philosophies I unraveled at Columbia, and occasionally the art of balancing personal sorrows with professional highs. So, here I was nurturing young talent while my wounds healed, slowly and almost imperceptibly. I never thought I'd say this, but pouring the elixir of shared experiences and lessons onto their path of growth began to heal my own emotional scrapes. Like a phoenix searching for its life amongst the ashes, I found solace amongst these budding professionals, their dreams echoing the once young and ambitious kid who moved to New York with a heart full of dreams and a mind brimming with curiosities. Every brainstorming session, each campaign we strategized, now had an additional layer, an invisible thread of emotional healing delicately woven into the fabric of everyday work. Turns out, the cure to heartbreak doesn't always come bottled in ice creams and rom-coms. Sometimes it disguises itself in conference rooms and coffee machines. As weeks rolled into months, and I found myself approaching a full year post-breakup, I realized that stepping up as a mentor had not only reshaped my role at Click AI, but it was also subtly remodeling my life outside work. Painfully, silently, I was ferried from being the heartbroken Olivia to a resilient mentor who looked emotional challenges in the eye and said, "You're not knocking me down, not today." And it was in this enigmatic dance of personal and professional life, shrouded by office walls and lit by fluorescent lights, I uncovered the healing powers of passing on wisdom. Courage wears different faces, and mine, it appeared, was cloaked in the hustle of a brand manager at Click AI. Having tamed the emotional turmoil of the breakup and successfully carving a niche as a mentor at Click AI, there was a lingering need to rekindle my relationship with my first love, photography. I reminisced about the time I had won my first photography contest at the age of 12, stirring nostalgic desires to dust off my old camera and venture beyond the office, into the concrete jungle which I call home. And thus, armed with my camera and a steaming cup of coffee for company, I decided to embark on a series of solitary exploration across New York. As I commenced this journey, I sought solace in the alluring hues of the city, seeking the aesthetic beauty intertwined in the chaos of rushing crowd and towering skyscrapers. The city's vibrant spirit awakened an unfamiliar part of me, something raw and untamed, sparking a newfound energy. The blend of alleyways strewn with graffiti, jazz musicians pouring their heart out in a dimly lit corner, or the energy of Times Square at midnight, it all felt exceedingly palpable through the lens. The chemistry between the city and my camera was electric. Every snapshot told a story distinct from the other, even when it was the same street corner I captured at different times. These journeys were the silver lining to the gloomy days post-breakup I was grappling with. Each photograph captured was not merely a handful of pixels, but a window into my resilient spirit, mirroring my journey of moving past my heartbreak and embracing the uncertainty that lay ahead. While on one hand, I was immersing myself in the experience of photographing the city, on the other hand, the city itself was photographing me. Every alley I walked, every street musician I captured, every sunset I savored painted a little more color into my monochrome life. The very act of exploring the city alone, camera in hand, interspersed with intermittent bouts of solitude, offered a sense of liberation I had not felt before. As I danced through this melodious symphony of solitude and creativity, I realized that photography was much more than a passion or hobby. It was a part of my soul. Each photograph was a testament of my endless affair with the city, carefully captured and etched into tangible memories. It was like stitching together the intricate tapestry of New York with individual threads of visual narratives captured through my lens. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey was that, despite being solo travels, I never truly felt alone. No matter which part of the city I was in, I felt a strong sense of belonging. It was as if New York and its huddled masses were silently conversing with me. The bustling streets, the solemn parks, the historic brownstones, the dazzling city lights, every nook and corner of the city kept me company, surrounding me with an affectionate warmth. Almost as though the phantom pains of my previous heartbreak were slowly healing, replaced by a radiant energy emanating from the city and being fortified on a journey of rediscovery with the power of self-reflection and photography. After countless solitary expeditions, my heart was pounding with an all-consuming concept. A conspicuous thought had wormed its way into my consciousness during these several encounters with the city. Why not merge my love for photography with my proven prowess with AI? My inherent inclination towards photography, coupled with the propellant of an AI-driven industry I was a part of, made it an obvious solution to my fretful quest for placidity amongst the chaos. And so, I found myself amidst a growing concept, a photography tool powered by Click AI's distinctive AI technology. Oh, the possibilities! I could almost see it. An intelligent tool that could offer photographers nuanced insights, striking a perfect balance between technical precision and artistic interpretation. The same bustling streets, understated charm of vintage houses, intricate graffiti, and scintillating cityscapes that I captured in my photos could be experienced by others through this cutting-edge innovation. As the idea took root, I remembered the words of my philosophy professor at Columbia. Innovation and imagination go hand in hand. When you imagine it, you're halfway through making it. The concept acted like an energizing catalyst, adding a dash of adrenaline to my otherwise routine working hours. The thought of how this tool could revolutionize the field of photography by merging it with AI fascinated me. It felt like a dream. But it was more than just a distant dream. It was a precise solution I was yet to mold into reality. The more I mulled over it, the clearer the image became. AI, far from overtaking humans, could actually act as a catalyst, enhancing our abilities and pushing our boundaries to unimagined horizons. Every unassuming scene I captured could further feed the adventurous appetite of this tool. As the horizons of my dreams stretched, I knew this could be a tool that adapts just like me, learns from new encounters, and develops a keen eye for beauty, not despite, but because of the countless contrasting narratives it was exposed to. As weeks turned into months, this solo adventure started taking shape. With each photographed fragment of the city, my belief in the potential for a tool that could capture the city's myriad nuances grew. The quintessential rhythm of the city, as seen through my lens, was now just a project away from being replicated and experienced by millions. A rebirth of sorts was taking place, stemming from a solitary pursuit taken up to fill the emptiness and culminating into a project filled with potential. Photography, far from being a mere pastime, had now provided me with the perfect intersection where my professional paths meet my personal passion. I was ecstatic, eager to see how this voyage continued. As the festive season rolled in, my life was anything but festive. The thought of passage of another eventful year, my recent breakup, and the solitude started casting a shadow over my mind. Christmas was always an occasion of joy and warmth for me, filled with laughter, love, and heartening banter. But this was my first Christmas after my breakup with Daniel, a fact that hung heavy in the air. The smell of pine needles, the glittering Christmas lights, and carols that once warmed my heart, this time, stirred a sweet melancholy. I missed Daniel's stupid Christmas sweater, our shared laughter as we decorated the Christmas tree, the lazy mornings waking up to the smell of coffee and baked goodies. As these feelings of nostalgia and longing washed over me, I felt a pang of sadness yet chose to face it head on. As I spent the silent afternoon flipping through some old photos, Each frame was a walk down the memory lane, reminding me of the good times I've had not just with Daniel, but also the family and friends who've been an integral part of my journey. It dawned upon me that I wasn't alone, not truly. I still had my friends, my family, and most importantly, I had myself. To my surprise, my friends decided to throw a Christmas dinner at my place to lift my spirits. The sound of their laughter echoing through my apartment, anecdotes being shared over wine, the warmth of their company. It was all so comforting. Surrounded by their genuine care and infectious laughter, I found the strength that had evaded me. I realized that sometimes all I needed was a friendly shoulder, a comforting presence, and loads of Christmas cookies baked with love. As we exchanged gifts, I felt a strange brew of emotions, a mixture of bittersweet nostalgia and renewed hope. This night was not about Daniel or my professional ambitions. It was instead an endearing testament to my resilience and my adaptability. Being amidst my loved ones served a stark reminder of how my strength of character molded me into the person I am today. Christmas was still Christmas, with or without Daniel, filled with familiar warm laughter, shared stories, memories in the making, and the cinnamonic scent of hot apple cider. While the Christmas lights twinkled and the room echoed with holiday cheer, I was introspecting on my journey. Life was never a smooth ride. It had its sharp turns and bumps, but every brutal bend only made me steer better. Losing love had cast a shadow on my Christmas, but I decided to face it, mask the void, and invited warmth and comfort from others. With my favorite people around me, eating, laughing, and singing Christmas carols in off-tune voices, what I thought would be a poignant Christmas left me filled with a comforting sense of love, warmth, and resilience. Their love and support were sincerely the biggest gifts I could ask for that year, and as I fell asleep that night, with the Christmas lights dimly illuminating the room and the sound of the city humming softly in the background, I knew I was more than my breakup, fiercely ready for what the new year had to bring. My personal renaissance was in full swing. The first few months of 2023 were a blur of commitment to myself and to my work. I was fully invested in finalizing my photography AI tool project, the pet project I had conceived after my solo photography expedition the previous year. Working on this project was exciting as it was challenging. Balancing my role as a brand manager and spearheading this personal venture was an uphill task, but each milestone and breakthrough fueled a sense of exhilarating accomplishment. Every bit of effort and time I was pouring into my endeavor was now beginning to map out into tangible progress. I could see the manifestation of my efforts materializing into something potentially revolutionizing within the photography industry. I was full of nerves, anticipation, and yet a sense of contentment began to seep into me. The edges of my personal and professional paths were blurring to give birth to a new venture that combined my love for photography and the nuts and bolts of AI technology. Of all the assignments I had undertaken, this was special, personal. It was my baby, my secret passion trailing its path into realism. It was no longer a figment of my imagination or scribbled notes somewhere in the e-files of my laptop. It was evolving into a solid, practical, and applicable solution that had the potential to revolutionize the world of photography. This project of mine was not just an invention or a breakthrough. It was a reflection of my journey, my experiences, the lens through which I saw the world, encapsulated within AI-powered technology. Every line of code, every integrated feature echoed my passion, my knack for seeking beauty in the ordinary. Work became less of work and more of a passion rediscovery phase. Even though my day often stretched into the night and breaks were a luxury I seldom could afford, I was never happier. The thrill of innovation coupled with the satisfaction of living my passion kept me on my toes, enthusiastically welcoming the dawn of each day with renewed vigor. During the launch of my project, as I leaned against the panel of the demonstration booth, observing the first set of users, my heart was pounding with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. As I watched their astounded reactions, saw their faces lighting up as the tool executed its charm, I experienced the pure joy of sheer accomplishment. The path was arduous, sure, but the fruits of labor were profoundly gratifying. The intersection of photography and AI was now not just a dream, it was a reality. While deadlines were crossed, awards were attained, and triumphs celebrated, There was something more gratifying and personally satisfying. I had managed to strike the perfect synergy between my career and my passion, creating something meaningful both for myself and for the world. All the late-night troubleshooting, countless iterations, and caffeine-powered sessions had paid off. And how? As I watched the widespread applications of my tool, the positive waves it was creating, I knew I'd tapped onto something extraordinary. This project had not just revitalized my passion for photography, but had also reinvigorated my thirst for innovation, a thirst to combine the beautiful with the useful, the aesthetic with the technical. Indeed, the dawn of personal fulfillment and professional contentment was here, and I was beaming with an inner glow of pure satisfaction. Months later, Daniel crossed my path on a chilly spring evening at a mutual friends gathering. My heart did a mini somersault at his sight. A flurry of conflicting feelings rushed to the surface, but I kept my composure. Subtle nods and half smiles later, we found ourselves standing against the backdrop of a silent, beautiful night, the awkwardness hanging in the air like a fog. We exchanged light conversation, dwelled in small jests, but the bittersweet cinematic reversal of our past against the present was palpable. I remembered Daniel and the several pictures we had clicked together, his silhouette a familiar memory in the frames I had once cherished. Our presence in the same room, however, didn't spark the love that once ignited between us. Instead, it was a testament to the chapter that had closed, and a reminder of how I had moved on. While our encounter was as unexpected as the punchline of a cosmic joke, it was far from catastrophic. Rather, it illuminated how far I'd come in my path of self-awareness and acceptance. I saw in Daniel the reflection of a past self, someone whose heart was intertwined with mine, yet distanced by life's realities. It reminded me of the importance of perseverance, of not letting personal setbacks define my professional growth, and vice versa. The encounter, in its awkward silences and suppressed histories, screamed of a shared past, but also pointed at the possibility of a cordial future. It brought home the understanding that relationships can change their shape and form while still holding a significant place in our lives. Some bonds may fade, some might fray, and yet some morph into newer versions of themselves. Despite the unexpected emotional turmoil, I navigated the situation with grace and poise, just like a runaway stream finding ways around the rocks. The nostalgic reunion with Daniel served as a personal realization that encouraged me to embrace uncertainty, to adapt, and to look ahead, shedding the weight of past experiences. Time is indeed a strange phenomenon, creating memories while fading them, shaping relationships while molding them into newer meanings. That evening, as I watched Daniel, the man who once held a significant influence on my life, I wasn't weighed down by the heavy past, but enlightened by the potential of a promising future. This chance encounter wasn't a casual footnote in my personal narrative, but a significant anecdote about strength, resilience, and the capability of embracing change that I created for myself. So I left the gathering that evening not with a heavy heart, but a subtle satisfaction, for life had moved on, and so had I. And this, in its unique way, felt like another win. With the successful launch of the premier AI-based photography tool, I was basking in the newfound sense of achievement and confidence. The positive affirmation from my colleagues in the company was the most fulfilling reward and a testament to my fortitude. As the brand manager of Click AI, this was more than just professional recognition. It was a personal victory for me. Every bit of struggle, every daunting hurdle I had encountered, suddenly made sense. It felt as if all the dynamic shifts between my personal and professional life were finally converging into the woman I had become. The countless sleepless nights, the stress, pushing boundaries out of my comfort zone. It was all validated. The joy of accomplishment was not just about completing a successful project, but about how much I had grown and matured in this journey. My vibrant, charismatic nature, combined with a stubborn will to turn every stone in the path to success, resulted in my love for photography emerging as an AI-driven tool. The sweet amalgamation of my professional competencies and personal passions in this project was a reflection of the very essence of Olivia Morse. And perhaps that's what made it successful, because it was not just a tool. It was a piece of my soul. I had put a lot of effort into making this a reality. I had invested not just my time, but also my emotional investment. The echo of the past galvanized my present, shaping my future. The countless frames I had clicked, the hundreds of miles I had traveled, and all the sunsets and sunrises I had captured not just in my camera, but in my heart. They collided and emerged as this AI photography tool. But the journey was not without its fair share of struggles. I often found myself questioning if I was making the right decisions. The anxiety would keep me up at night as I tossed and turned, my mind chasing the strains of what-ifs and but then. However, I had learned the hard way that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. I had realized that fear was not something to shun, but a feeling to embrace. Fear was a retelling of the story of my life, pushing me towards uncertainty, urging me to explore my limits. When fear gripped me, it did not paralyze me, but propelled me to plunge headfirst into whatever challenge lay ahead. The completion of this project was a nod to my bold, adventurous spirit. The public affirmation was more than just about professional recognition. It was about the dream I had harbored on those camping trips in Oregon, about the promise I had made to the 12-year-old me. It was about staying true to my roots while expanding my horizons. In every wild ride through again, in every tricky terrain, in every untamed current I rode, I learned a little more about myself. Every photograph I clicked, every frame I captured, told a tale of a young girl from Portland, an ambitious woman named Olivia Morse. It was these invaluable experiences, the ups and downs, the laughter and the tears, that comprised the woman I proudly recognized in the mirror every day. A woman armed with resilience, determination, and an unquenchable thirst for evolution. A woman who had etched her journey from a small-town girl to a pioneering force in the world of AI photography with nothing but sheer grit and indomitable spirit. And above all, a woman who still preserved the simplicity of her heart, even amidst the rapid advancement of her life. The success of the photography tool was as intricate and beautiful as the late-night cityscapes I loved photographing, each element contributing to the grand picture of my life. The personal and the professional, the triumphs and the trials, the serenity and the chaos, all merging into this moment of celebration. Looking back at my journey, I realized that while my path was riddled with challenges, it was my belief in myself and my vision that kept me moving forward. And now, my journey with the photography tool didn't feel like an ending, but a landmark in the saga of my life. It felt like not just another achievement, but as a harbinger of the exciting venture that lay ahead. And so, as I stood weathered yet unbeatable under the spotlight of success, I marveled at how far I had come, and how far I was yet to go. With anticipation twinkling in my eyes and certainty echoing in my smile, I was ready for the path that lay ahead. I recognized these exhilarating challenges not as trials, but as treasures, a blessing in disguise. All in all, the riveting journey of my life was nothing less than a symphony, the melody of which was sung by every sunset I had ever captured.